morning, everybody. Welcome to the October 30th edition of the Job with John program. As you all know, this is a program that we do almost every week virtually to connect with our senior community and our other residents in Acton. We used to do it in person a long time ago, it seems, and we're doing it virtually now. Hopefully we'll do it in a person again soon over at the Senior Center. We have 5 guests today to speak about different things that are happening throughout the community. So we're going to get right to it. Early voting has been a big success here in Town Hall. We've had, I just had the numbers. We've had more than 66% of the people vote already as of lunchtime on Thursday, which is pretty impressive. We have 16,000 or so registered voters in Acton. So the fact that 66% have already voted it's really great. It's going to help what we do on election day be that much smoother. So nice work to Eva and all the staff that are helping out with the election. And I thank you all for all your residents who are being patient, waiting outside in line to vote the last 2 weeks. So our first guest, as we do most weeks, is going to be Heather York, who's our public health nurse. She runs a nursing services program here in Acton, and she's been very busy since March, doing contact tracing and closely monitoring the COVID-19 situation and as it impacts Acton. Heather, what's new?
Hi, John. Nice to see everyone. So just the update on the public health end, we are at 234 cases of COVID-19 in the town of Acton overall since March. We currently have 11 residents under isolation. I'm sure as everyone is seeing across the nation that the numbers are going up every day. In Massachusetts, over the last week and a half or so, we've gone from about 750 cases a day to some days over 1,200 cases a day. So we're definitely seeing that fall surge that everyone has talked about and predicted. So just reminders to stay safe, social distance, wear your face coverings when you're out in public, wash your hands, all of those good things that everyone's been doing since the beginning of this pandemic. Tomorrow is Halloween. I just wanted to remind folks that on the acton-ma.gov website, there are guidance and suggestions by the Board of Health that were put out a few weeks ago for some safe tips to pass out candy or receive candy. So you might want to take a look at that. Understandable if people don't want to participate. And if you don't, or are not planning on it, leave your light off so that trick-or-treaters aren't coming up to the door, just to keep yourself safe. I personally am not accepting trick-or-treaters this year, unfortunately. I enjoy I know, I'm sorry. I really enjoy the young kids, but as a nurse, I just don't feel that I should put myself at risk because that puts my patients at risk and my staff at risk. So unfortunately, I'll miss those little cuties. But anyways, the other thing on public health that's out, obviously, John just talked about early voting and the election next week. Again, just make sure you're safe and social distancing, wearing that face covering when you do go to vote if you haven't already. The Department of Public Health and the CDC has also put out safety tips for Thanksgiving. As everyone's thinking about traveling and going to different locations, make sure you're aware of if the state you're going to, if you do leave the state, what their guidance is. As our Massachusetts state guidance for travel, we have some low-risk states that you are able to travel to and come back without having to get a COVID test and fill out a form. But there are the majority of the states, you do have to get a test within 72 hours of returning to Massachusetts, a negative test, and then you have to fill out the travel form. So just be aware if you're leaving the state, not only for our guidance, but whatever state you're going to. It's good to keep an eye on how high those numbers are wherever you're going. The only other thing I wanted to mention, flu clinic. So we are having a drive-through flu clinic at the DPW garage at 14 Forest Street. on Saturday, November 7th from 9 to 1. So all the vaccine will be administered while you're in your car. Make sure if you're coming that you're wearing accessible clothing to get that injection. Face coverings are required. The staff will be obviously in protective gear while giving out this vaccine. Unfortunately, we will not have the high dose vaccine at this clinic. We have a very limited amount. We are looking at doing a small clinic again at 30 Sudbury Road. We did 2 last week that went very well. So look for that date. Hopefully we'll get that out soon, but there will be no high dose at the drive-through clinic. All right. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Heather, do you have to register to that drive-through clinic, or you just show up?
No registering for the drive-through.
And when you say the public works facility, are people driving as if they're going to the landfill, to the dump, or are you driving through the other way? How are people supposed to get there?
Access is through 14 Forest Street, so on Forest Street. And then you'll be directed through the traffic line around the building, and the cars will actually go into the garage, and that's where the stations with the nurses will be set up for the injections. So there's information on the website. Again, there's also the paperwork, if you can have it pre-filled out, and a copy of your insurance card. Those are always helpful.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the updates, and thanks for the info on that drive-through clinic. Our next presenter is Sharon Mercurio. You all know Sharon. She's the director of the Council on Aging. She's joining us as we're here, available on 94.9 FM, also on YouTube TV, and maybe you're watching on ActonTV on your local television. So Sharon, what's happening this week?
Well, aside from Halloween, Heather covered very nicely. We also wanted to remind folks that it's time to fall back. So turn your clock back Saturday night as well, and check your smoke detector batteries while you're at it. Wanted to remind seniors that we've been working really closely with ActonTV throughout this entire pandemic to try to duplicate the schedule that was happening in person at the senior center on ActonTV. So if you used to go to Terry's exercise class every Tuesday mornings, you can find it on ActonTV. So just a reminder that those things are happening. If routine is something that's important to you, it's there. And then we also have it available on YouTube. So if you're not a morning person and never got up to go to the 8:30 class, you can hit it whenever you want. So a reminder for that. We also try to duplicate a lot of our lectures and that sort of thing that are currently on Zoom on ActonTV as well. So we want to thank them for their ongoing support. We've been working with Cheryl Ball, who received a grant from Chana, and there'll be a mental health first aid program happening Wednesday, November 4th at 2:00. Mackenzie Dzik. She's our jail diversion social worker. She works for the town of Acton as well as other towns. And our own Bev Hutchings from the Council on Aging will be talking about just various mental health issues and how to deal with them. And if you'd like to sign up, it's a Zoom program, but will also be filmed and shown later on ActonTV. You can sign up with Cheryl Ball at 978-929-6453. And then lastly, I'll try to keep this short and sweet. As many of you know, Joy Aguil has been the dining room coordinator for the Council on Aging before I was there. She's been there for 13 years, and she had a letter that she'd like to share with you. So I'll be reading that now. As most of you know, I've been the dining site coordinator for the Acton Boxer on Maynard meal site. I've been working remotely since March. And as the pandemic is clearly not going away, and the Acton Meal on Wheels program is growing, the rule requires that I be on site. Unfortunately, due to medical conditions, my team of doctors have strongly recommended that I do not go back to work until a vaccine is available. As the meal site needs on-site leadership, Minuteman and I have decided that we would separate ways so there can be a new site leader to ensure continued program success. Therefore, as of November 6th, I will no longer be employed with Minuteman Senior Services. Although please note that my Minuteman email will no longer be effective as of November 6th. You truly have all touched my heart and soul, and I'm so grateful being able to be part of your lives for the past 13 years. You've taught me so much about kindness, compassion, and patience, and helped me become a better person. For that, I'm forever grateful. You can be assured as soon as there's a vaccine, you'll see me popping into the COA, and I cannot wait until that day. With much love and gratitude, Joy. So huge loss for us. She really, above and beyond in all ways, the seniors really were in her heart forever, and will continue to be. I said we will get creative as soon as the doors open again. And we're going to be doing a little send-off Zoom party for her next Friday at, oh, I forgot, sorry. We're going to be doing it next Friday, I believe at 1:00. So we'll have that Zoom link on our website for you, and we'll email it out as well. But I did want to give folks the opportunity to say goodbye to Joy. If you have cards, whatever you'd like to send, you can send them to the Senior Center, and I'll make sure she gets them, because she was a big part of everybody's life and will continue to be. So.
Thank you, Sharon, and thanks for reading that note from Joy. And Joy, thanks for all your work over at Minuteman, helping feed many of our seniors over the last several years. Speaking of feeding people, our next guest is Jill from Open Table, who Open Table is in Maynard, and we're very excited to learn all about that program here this morning.
Thank you, John, for inviting me to be on this program, and thank you to the whole audience for tuning in. I'm not joining you from Open Table. I'm joining you from my home in Acton, where I've lived it's our 30th year anniversary here. And programs like this remind me how special Acton really is. When it's not raining, like today, I take my bicycle from the rail trail from South Acton Station right into Maynard Center, where I'm the program manager at Open Table. The mission of Open Table is to address hunger in our community in a welcoming and warm environment while protecting the dignity of all those that we serve. I want to say that while we're in Maynard, the majority of our guests, those are the people who we call, that's how we call the people who come to the Open Table facility, are not from Maynard. They are from the surrounding communities. One of the largest constituents is Acton and also Boxborough, as well as Concord. And there are actually 23 communities in total that come visit us. Before the pandemic, Open Table was providing community suppers twice a week and also a senior lunch, as well as a fresh market that people could shop in without paying in a kind of like self-serve manner. And with the onset of COVID, we had to significantly change our operations. So we are now running as a drive-through, completely contactless food pantry. And if you would come to Open Table, either on a Tuesday or Thursday, you would drive up your car, a guest greeter would approach you and ask to take your order. And what our guests can receive from coming to our drive-through pantry is a selection of frozen meats, chicken, fish, beef, and also a vegetarian plant-based proteins, as well as a grocery bag of shelf-stable foods that don't need to be refrigerated, soups and boxes of pasta, rice, beans, breads, things like that, sauces, as well as a bag of fresh produce, farm-fresh fruits and vegetables as well. And we always provide our guests fresh milk and also fresh eggs. Once the order's taken, we have volunteer shoppers that work outside. They collect up what you want, and then they load it right into the back of your trunk, and you're done and on your way. And through this way, we've been able to provide food safely to our guests and also in a safe manner for our volunteers, and also for us to efficiently meet kind of a growing demand in light of COVID restrictions, but also in deteriorating economic conditions, which unfortunately are affecting our town as well as many of the surrounding towns. I had mentioned that we previously were doing a community suppers, which were an important part of Open Table and important part of community building. We are now using our commercial kitchen and our trained chefs to take our surplus food and convert them into individually prepared meals, which are then frozen and packaged so that people can take them home and reheat later. We're doing about 500 of these prepared meals a week. Many of them are distributed through our Fresh Air drive-through pantry, but also many of them are distributed to some of our partners. An important partner for us is the Acton Council on Aging, where Sharon and her team there distribute about 40 meals a week to seniors that they've identified that are particularly in need of such a meal. So that's kind of a program that we are very proud of. Our guests seem to be very appreciative for the opportunity to have a meal that they don't necessarily have to prepare themselves. And feedback is that they really like the taste of it. And we change up those meals weekly. We always have 2 on hand. The meals are created from what we call our surplus food. So we call these our SOS, Save Our Surplus Food. And you might want to know what surplus food is. A lot of food that's donated to Open Table was originally planned for wholesale and restaurant use. So they come in very large packaging, huge containers of, say, tomato sauce, 40-pound bags of rice, things like that, which certainly we couldn't distribute in our, directly to a guest. That's not something that you would take home in your car. And we use those to create different and unique meals every single week. So, go ahead.
What's for dinner, or what are you making today?
Yeah, so this week, actually today we distributed meatloaf with mashed potatoes and green beans. And we also had a stir-fried chicken with vegetables and rice. When I left, they were cooking up a sausage kale soup that will be distributed.
With white beans?
It might have had white beans or it might have had lentils, and it just smelled really good. So yeah, there's cooking going on all the time. In addition, also in conjunction with the Council on Aging, on the 17th, Open Table is going to be providing dessert, holiday-themed desserts, either cranberry or pumpkin-type bars. On the 17th, the Council on Aging in Acton is doing a drive-through grab-and-go event. Sharon can chime in on that. And Open Table's happy to provide desserts for all the seniors then as well.
Great. Well, it sounds like quite an operation you have over there. And I like the idea of finding new ways to use everything you have in the pantry. So thanks for sharing your story, and thanks for collaborating with Sharon and others here.
Yes. So I wanted to just say, if anybody is in need of food, and particularly if I want to welcome any seniors in this difficult time to come to Open Table. We have found, people question that, our seniors newly in need, as many of our Acton families are. And some of our seniors don't have access to food that they had before, that they might have been food insecure, but they were receiving food either by visiting friends or family, or people were taking food. And during the pandemic, they have less access to that. They're not being invited over, or people are not coming to their house with food. And while they had not ever visited a pantry in the past, to consider, please don't go without, and please don't make difficult decisions about trading off whether you should refill your medication or having food, to please consider coming to Open Table or contacting the Council on Aging about your need. So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. Yes, please check out Open Table, and thank you for sharing the information about that.
Thank
Our
you.
next speaker this morning will be Kristen Guichard. Kristen is the Interim Planning Director and Zoning Enforcement Officer. She's also the reigning Municipal Employee of the Year. So Kristen, thank you for joining us this morning. What's going on in planning?
Thank you for having me. Well, I wanted to share several interesting projects that we have going on. The first one I wanted to share was about the exploration of drive-up windows. So in an effort to ensure that residents have safe and healthy ways of accessing local goods and services, as well as to support local businesses, Acton, like several other communities around us, is revisiting the zoning bylaw regarding allowing drive-up windows, and to see if the current bylaw meets Acton's residents' needs and desires. So currently, the zoning bylaw only allows drive-up windows for banks. So we're really starting the conversation with the community to see what they think. And to start off this effort, we teamed up with Community Circle to help facilitate a public outreach effort. And we held a virtual public workshop through Zoom on October 15th. And as of yesterday, launched a town-wide survey, which can be found on the town website and social media platforms. And if anyone's uncomfortable with, getting a survey that way, we can always, email one to you as well. You can print it out, put it in the Dropbox at Town Hall. If you want to fill something out, hard copy, we'd be happy to do that. You can email planning@actonma.gov. And as of now, we have over 250 responses already. So if you haven't taken the survey, please take a moment and complete the survey and let us know what you think about drive-up windows. We're going to have a follow-up to the survey as well, so mark your calendars for December 10th. We're going to go over the results of the survey, and the consultant, Community Circle, they're going to share some suggested recommendations based on the public feedback that has been received. The other project that we have going on that hasn't been discussed too much yet, but is very exciting, is a project that we've been working on with the town of Maynard. It's a planning study for the Powder Mill Road corridor. So this is about a half a mile in Acton and a mile in Maynard. And this project came out of a planning study grant that the towns were able to acquire. And this project really has the potential to develop a multi-jurisdictional plan that not only addresses conditions that negatively affect adjacent communities, but also offers an opportunity to really think about how to retrofit existing sprawl development and re-envision what Powder Mill Corridor could be. So a zoning and market analysis was conducted by our regional planning agency, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. And now we're looking to hear from the Acton and Maynard community by hosting another virtual public forum. It's going to be co-hosted by both economic development committees in both of our communities on December 3rd at 6 p.m. So look out for invitations. They should be coming out soon. And the last update is Kelly's Corner. So the Kelly's Corner infrastructure project is moving along. The 100% design plans will be submitted this week. And following that, Mass DOT is going to have their review period. And then GPI, the town's engineering consultant, will respond to any of those comments. And then we're looking to be completing the right-of-way process, or at least starting the completion of that in the next 60 to 90 days. So we're really moving along and excited to see this project.
Kelly's Corner, what are we thinking about for a tagline for the Kelly's Corner? What were we talking about?
So we're also looking at a temporary wayfinding and branding idea to help mitigate construction impacts. So helping local businesses, keeping it kind of lively and fresh and exciting for everyone, but also a way to help effectively communicate construction process, schedules, where, detours will be, what to expect that week on your commute. But we're looking to do that in a fun and exciting way. And the theme that we're exploring is about moving in positive directions. So using kind of a play on construction signage, like merge. We're going to move together with a merge sign. So a little play, funny things like that.
That sounds great.
It'll be more creative than what I just came up with.
Oh, that sounds like it's going to be really interesting, and people. It's going to be a great project for the community. We've been working on it for many years, and we're still 2 years away from it starting, but we're almost at the final approval here. So nice work with that. Just to note, the corridor study that Kristen just talked about, that's right next to the senior center, pretty much. Route 62 goes right by the bottom of the hill where the senior center is. So check out that forum on December 3rd, was it?
Yes, December 3rd.
December 3rd. Great, thank you. So since we've been closed, the town hall's been closed, all of our buildings have been closed, the senior center has been closed. The library has also been closed. But the library staff, led by Danielle Savin, has been doing a lot of things over the last 6 months or so to engage with their library patrons. And ever since probably early April, we've been hearing from library patrons saying, when can I get back to my library? And so Danielle has some news to share on that, and maybe some other things. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning. Thanks, John. Yes, I'm excited to talk about some reopening hours we now have at the library. So we're now offering browsing of the children's room and select adult collections on the first floor by appointment. Appointments are 30 minutes in length and available on Sundays from 2 to 5, Mondays from 1 to 5, and Tuesdays from 9 to 1. To book an appointment, please go to actonmemoriallibrary.org/calendar, scroll down and select a date and time. If you do not have access to a computer, you can call us at 978-929-6655, option 2. You must have an appointment to enter the library, and we ask that you arrive on time wearing a mask. We are unable to offer computer use, study spaces, technology assistance, or other services besides checkout and browsing on the lower level at this time. And then if you are really liking using our curbside service and don't want to come in the library, we're still going to be offering that. So Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, you can book an appointment to come in the library. And now Wednesdays through Saturdays between 10:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m., you can still get curbside pickup, and you do not need an appointment for that. So when you receive notice that your holds are ready for pickup, just drop by the library Wednesday through Saturday between 10:30 and 5:30. Give us a call. The number again is 978-929-6655, option 2 for the circulation department. You'll have to tell us your last name and library card number, and then a staff member will put your materials outside on the tables by the main entrance. So we've been offering those services for the past couple of weeks, and both are still popular. If you have any questions about them, you can reach out to the library, give us a call, check out our website, and book an appointment. And then also we do have a couple of virtual programs for adults coming up in November. We have a program called Native American Ceremonial Stone Structures of Acton. That'll be on Thursday, November 12th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. The Friends of Pine Hawk member Linda McElroy will discuss and show slides of the variety of stone structures left by Native Americans throughout the significant ceremonial landscape. And then the next virtual program we have in November is a book discussion group. We just moved, that group used to meet in person before the COVID-19 closure. We just moved them online, last week, actually, I think it was. So now we'll be trying to do some more Zoom meetings with them. So the book discussion is Tuesday, November 17th at 7:15 p.m. And they'll be discussing 2 titles, On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder and How Democracies Die by Steve Levitsky. You can call the library if you would like help to request those titles. Both these programs do require registration because they're virtual. We have to be able to send you the appropriate Zoom links. But we have a lot happening, and we're excited to see some of you indoors browsing again. And make sure you contact us if you have any questions or about any of our services.
Thank you, Danielle. So there's a lot happening over at the Memorial Library. It's exciting to hear about, and nice to see people able to get back in the building. Even though it's on a limited basis, it's nice to see them back in there. We'll be looking and continuing to discuss with the Board of Selectmen about when the right time is to reopen Town Hall for limited services as well. Over the last few weeks with early voting going on, there's been a lot of activity in the building, so we were going to hold off on making the decision until after that ends. So after the election next week, we will reevaluate the situation and we'll be notifying the public either way. So maybe I'll mention it on the show next week. So that about wraps it up for this edition of Java with John. I want to thank our guests, Heather, Sharon, Jill, Danielle, Kristen. I want to thank the team behind the scenes, Mark and Justin and others who help out. And I hope you all have a happy and safe Halloween. Wear your mask, social distance, turn your lights out if you're not interested in participating. And don't forget to vote on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.